Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Sessions with Sharky. Yeah, the 28th. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Everything's been going well. Nothing too crazy in the markets. Looks like people are getting back into the swing of things and end of the year, all that fun stuff. Um, yeah, so we'll start off with PMA. It's a cool little quote, and I'll drop into some. Robert Edward Grant posted some interesting information from Scientific American, but this quote here I like. It's like, hey, people could be on different sides of the fence. We don't need to get all emotional about it. We can actually have a conversation and still love somebody, even though we might disagree with them on, things like politics and religion. And yeah, politics, the whole red versus blue, Bloods and the Crips, kind of some interesting stuff there. But yeah, so Robert Edward Grant, from a PMA standpoint, I think I mentioned Hermes Trismegistus maybe a couple of episodes ago. We'll mention that here in a second. But from the Scientific American here, very interesting. This guy wins physics Nobel Peace, or not Peace Prize, but Nobel Prize in physics. And we see a lot of things with Newtonian physics and now quantum physics, the whole quantum field stuff. Talked about, uh, your frequency is what you frequently see. That's a pretty cool, popular quote, and the whole rate of vibration with your heart rate and the heart math stuff. But anyway, so this is, relatively recent. The this whole local realism, again, way over my head. I'm not a math major. I'm not. I'm interested in the geometry stuff. I'm interested in math. Interested in physics. But yeah, not an expert by any means. But this guy sure as hell is. Long story short, the I guess what they deduced here is that, or what this guy proved, means that things not observed are not there. They're simply a wave of potential that, once observed at the speed of light, collapse into form and realism. So, in essence, we see what we expected to see. And there's a split test where they shot a laser beam, and depending on what the person was expecting, right, and that had different results. So, I'll drop that in the show notes too. I'll find that. Um, it's a pretty infamous test, anyway. But yeah, he talks about Hermeticism and stuff like that. So if you haven't heard about that, a book here, The Kabbalion, is written by the Three Initiates Master Key Society on YouTube. I'll drop that in the show notes. These guys they read a bunch of pretty old school books. A lot of really good, but again, older, older wisdom. Still, again, definitely, if you've never checked it out, check out. Definitely give Master Key Society a follow. But here's a quick overview of the whole Hermetic philosophy. This first one here that Robert Edward Grant just talked about was mentalism. We talked about vibration, polarity. Everything in life exists by contrast. There's no up without the down, all that other fun stuff. So yeah, so there's kind of esoteric PMA. Um, Lots of value though, and if all of this is brand new to you, just go approach it with an open mind. Definitely kick the tires, be skeptical. Sure, that's always a good thing. Do your due diligence, just like with everything we do in trading, right? Do your due diligence. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get into Bitcoin. Quick overview. Not a whole heck of a lot's changed. One thing that did jump out. I use this hash ribbons. So there's different analysis camps. One is fundamental analysis. There's in traditional stock market equities, it's top down, and bottom up is kind of the two major camps from a fundamental analysis standpoint. From after fundamentals, like with crypto, we'll look at things like cost of production, the coins outstanding. It's a little bit different because there's not really earnings in cryptocurrencies, but there's different ways of approaching it from a fundamental standpoint. After you've kind of figured out what you think are fundamental valuations for whatever you're looking at, be it stock, equities, or crypto, or whatever. Then there's technical analysis, but there's also quantitative analysis. So that could be things like taking aerial photos of corn crops or soybean crops, right? Or checking the weather report for, potential freezing and frosting for the orange juice crops. All the way to scanning Twitter for tweets and things like that, and trying to get Google Trends, right? So there's a lot of different ways to skin that cat from a QA or quantitative analysis standpoint. Hash ribbons from a cryptocurrency and Bitcoin standpoint is something that we can look at, things with the happening events. we had a capitulation. So this is a Bitcoin miner capitulation metric that we use. Now, historically, and again, with all of this, let's go and say, past performance does not guarantee future results, right? There's that disclaimer that if you haven't heard it, write that down because it's definitely good to keep in mind. Kind of like the roulette wheel where they get you in Vegas to look up and see all these numbers and as if that affects the outcomes of the future. It doesn't, but it makes you think that way, and that's how they get you to donate money to their cause, right? So same type of thing here with trading. But we can look for patterns and things like that and use this one piece of information to layer into our analysis, right? We can see here some significance dates in the past when this has happened. So we got October 2018. Obviously this is the infamous, elevator ride of doom. Cut the cable there. Leia says hi to everybody. But notice after that minor capitulation, weekly W, moving average study, off to the races. Same type of thing. Elevator rip, weekly W, boom. And then actually right into this one right after that. So again, it's not going to be identical. It's not going to be exact. So this time it's different. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this time it's not different. Same thing here. So anyway, minor capitulation. That's just one signal. We have. This is actually an RSI study on balance volume. Again, yeah, think about that. Wrap your head around it. Definitely a cool little useful tool. But just giving signals there, just different perspective. We're still early. I don't think, this is not the bottom. I think in past videos we're talking this 12, 13 grand. We're at 16 and something now. So again, end of the year tax loss selling. Me personally, I'm just dollar cost averaging, accumulating, expecting lower prices, not betting the farm, but starting to build an inventory. But I did want to mention this minor capitulation signal that actually did come in today, so I wanted to put this video out today. One thing I will do, I had a request from a level 1 student about combining a PineScript MACD, so moving average, convergence, and divergence. If you don't know what that is, check it out on Investopedia. I'll tell you exactly how it's calculated. But even better, we can come into TradingView here. I'll show you, click the Pine editor down here. Let's go ahead and go open. We'll say built-in script. Moving average, convergence, and divergence. Boom. Right, so what this will do here is, let's go ahead and maximize that, right? So any of the inbuilt scripts in TradingView, you can go ahead and they'll give you the source code, which is, again, shout out to the Pine Coders people at TradingView over the years. Super amazing group, and it's even every year they do better. They keep improving it, so shout out to those guys. It's always cool when you see a good product and then people actually work hard and invest to make it better. And then also the community, the whole 1 + 1 = 3 things going on there too. So can't say enough nice things about those guys and girls over there, right? So what I've done here is I've actually taken this original code and just literally copy and pasted it, and I will show you the lines here that I have added. So again, all of this is the original. I added a couple little notes here. I like to just do my own comments. That way when I look at it later on the road, or because I'll put this on TradingView. There goes my golden retriever Lily. So yeah, she has her that's her baby strawberry. That's hilarious. But I'll add comments and just make it a little bit easier for me to read. And again, these are all the defaults. Nothing's changed there. I'm going to go ahead and leave that. So for me personally, I like the presentation of the histogram to be the histogram, which is the vertical lines there. But I like to put a line and increase the thickness on it. Let's get rid of these just to make it a little simpler to see. All right, so we look for market structure, and when we talk about market structure, let me turn off the magnet here. Use the path tool. So market structure is like a little M. It's just M's and W's, right? So in this case, it's going to be right up, down, up, but this high does not exceed this previous high. Down, this is the confirmation level. So we go point A, point B, point C, point D, and then breakthrough at point C is the confirmation. Let me just draw that off just so in case anybody later on is looking at it. Make that yellow, right? So we got again up, down, up, but again, point D does not exceed D there, or yeah, point D does not exceed B as in boy, and then break out or break down in that case because it's a M. Now if we invert that, so M's are going to be bearish, right? Expecting internals to be weaker and expecting price to drop, to go lower, right? So we're going to come here, here, and then there's going to be M's and W's within W's and all that kind of stuff, but for now we'll just keep it as simple as we can. And again, from a W we go down, so point B, so A to B to C to D, and then break out. Give you a little line there just to kind of visually see that. Shift. So again, if you have this little angle and you hold shift on the keyboard, it'll straighten that for you. Again, we had some good questions in level 1, so I figured I'd put this together. Right, so again, from a confirmation market structure W, we go A to B to C, D, and again, D cannot exceed this point B. If it does, it just invalidates it is all. And as you can see here, we're making, all right, higher lows, right? So from, if we are bullish, we want to see things like that. And then when we have this higher lows and then this confirmation level, that's actually what we would consider a confirmed. In this case, it's going to be here to here. Make that red just to really show the, there we go, be more proper. And I like to make this green. So me, from a visual, for whatever reason, when I was learning divergences, and especially with MACD, I needed to add that line just to see the market structure. When I didn't have, let's see if I can, yeah. So this is what it looks like normally, right? It's not terrible, but for me, I just kept making mistakes. So I just figured out a way to merge two studies. And again, one of the level 1 students, he has one of the free TradingView versions, so I figured I'd put this together and just throw a script together and record it just so people could see how that's done. But again, so yeah, so this is a component of, again, moving average convergence and divergence. Check it out on Investopedia to get a little idea of how it's actually, mathematically comprised. But this is how I use it in my trading and my investing. I use it as my second reason for a trade. First one being location, Fibonacci retracements. This is momentum, internals, right? Price momentum. I also use a modified Williams percentage R, but won't talk about that today. And I like to have on balance volume confirming, money's flowing into an asset, not necessarily leaving. So those are the kind of things I like to consider when looking at assets. But again, this approach here with M's and W's, market structure, and this is the bulk of what I do. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to add that line on there. Real quick, I will just show everyone the bits and pieces that I added. All of the inputs here, no change, left them as is. The plot colors, I went ahead and modified these ones here. The hex there, yeah, there we go, you can see it. That's just one of the default colors that TradingView offers, so I preferred that color just because it was one of the defaults and it's visually appealing for me. Left that as is, and I literally copied and pasted line 33. 33 degree knowledge. Shout out to Freemasons. That's funny. And then I just copied and pasted line 33 and then made a modification to the title. So it was histogram. I went ahead and added line on histogram. Changed the style from plot.style_histogram to style_line there. And then I went ahead and added a line width equals 2 just to make the thickness on it. Everything else is the same. And yeah, and then once you're done editing, you could save it and add to the chart, and that's how it actually populates it onto the chart there. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll publish this to my TradingView scripts, well, to TradingView. I do everything private just so the moderators don't, I don't want to spend an hour writing up a description and all that. Plus, it's a redundant script, so they'll probably flag it anyway. But I'll put it in my Google Sheet for Sharktoshi's TradingView scripts, and I'll put it in the show notes. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, PM me on the site on therationalinvestor.com. Yeah, or drop a message in here, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. We'll see how this whole tax loss selling and end of the year goes. And yeah, what's the 28th of November now? So what's that? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 weeks before Christmas. Yeah, stay safe out there. Happy trading. All the best, you guys. Peace.